Hi, Chad. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we're so excited to talk about Read Not Guess with you today. And we gave our listeners a little bit of an intro on what Read Not Guess is, but we want you to give them the whole scoop. So let's hear it.
Sure. So, Read Not Guess is a simple program. It's meant for parents as a supplementary tool to help parents work with their children at home on early reading skills. So, most of the lessons are intended for K to second graders, maybe third graders, and they're meant to be short and simple lessons. So, they're meant to only take 5 to 10 minutes per day, and they're meant to be doable for kids with shortest attention spans. So something that is good for, busy minds, busy families, that they can sit down at the breakfast table or do it while they're waiting in line somewhere or something, so that it's not a huge addition to their day, but it's something that a good tool for them to have.
Yeah, and Melissa and I can attest. We used it last summer with our own kids, with neighbors' kids, that it is really 5 to 10 minutes. It's very brief.
Yeah, and it was really nice to get that email as a reminder. Like sometimes I have things I want to do, but then I have to remind myself. But the email gave me the reminder of like, yes, this is, I have my lesson for the day. Now I can do this. I did it with Elliot. He was a 4 when we started, so I think he was a little young. So we started with the, the more simple things, and we repeated some of them.
It's meant
Yeah.
to be like it's an email-based program. So parents who sign up get an email. It depends on the program, but usually an email a day saying, "Here's the lesson of the day," and there's usually like a sound or a letter of the day. And we work on blending. I try to use clear spacing to show parents, like if you're going to sound out the word cat, like it gets from that big spacing into smaller and smaller, like cat, cat, cat by the end. And I try to include helpful tips for parents to watch out for, like make sure kids aren't adding an extra sound at the end, like cat. They're just saying cat cleanly and clearly.
Yeah. So, do you want to talk a little bit more about how parents can use it or teachers can use it? I'm just imagining, our listener base is teachers, but I'm imagining that teachers are thinking this would be a super resource for me to share with the families or caregivers of my students. And even if I'm a coach or a school leader, this might be an awesome resource to share as some opportunities for continuous summer learning.
Yeah, it's particularly for summer. We've had a lot more engagement on the summertime. I just think that more families are looking for more materials for the summer. So what we have are on the website are two different levels right now: a level 1 for true beginners, and a level 2, which works on more like consonant blends and some diphthongs, etc. Just like the next sequence from it. And they are structured as 30-day challenges. So for 30 days, you'll get an email a day walking you through a lesson or sound, and they're sequential, so they're meant to go in order. Um, the For people to use, I think summer would be a great opportunity to do that. If your child is going to kindergarten, level 1 would be great. If they just need a refresher, maybe level 1 still would be good. If they're going into first grade, then maybe a level 2, they might be ready for it. I also have another program which I haven't talked about here yet, which I call my dailyish decodable program. And it's for kids who just need more practice, that might be in first, second, or third grade, that have got the basics. They don't need to sound out cat anymore, but maybe they need a little bit more with the hard R sound, or some common prefixes or suffixes or things. And so if you sign up for one of those programs, you get an email like walking you through the lesson of the day.
Yeah. And Chad, I'll just jump in because I didn't know about your dailyish decodable program. I just went to Read Not Guess, and we will link everything in the show notes. But I went to Read Not Guess and went to free resources, scrolled, saw all of the options that you just talked about.
Yeah,
Super easy.
it's super easy. I try to make it as simple and easy for parents to sign up as possible. So all I ask for is the email. As you mentioned, they're free, so anyone can do this over the summer. It's a great resource if teachers want to share with families, or if you just have neighbors that are of the right age. Um, We've also had some schools go through it as well. So they wanted to sign up particular families or recommend it to their families to follow along throughout the year as well.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Are there any other logistics if people want to sign up or things you want them to know if they sign up?
Yeah, they're all free. So I should say that again. They're
It's a really
freely
good point
available
to
for
make.
Really
Yes.
good.
parents.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
everything
good
is free.
selling point. It does make a difference of free versus some money. So they're all free and it's meant to be simple. So I ask for your email address just so you can get the lessons. If you go to readnotguess.com, you can find the different levels that I've talked about. For in terms of helpful hints, I would say think about when you're planning to do these. So they'll arrive in your inbox first thing in the morning, but you can then choose when you want to do it throughout the day. The families who have had the most success usually have some sort of consistent pattern, like they're going to do it at breakfast time around the breakfast table, or maybe they have a little break before dinner while dinner's getting ready or something, or even bedtime. I've heard of families doing that too. So some sort of dedicated time. I also have for families who want to follow along, it comes with a printable calendar so they can track their progress along the way. And whether the kids want to write a note about what they learn or just cross off the day as they can make progress, or like to give some tracking, some tangible sign. There's also at the end of it, again, these are free. I'm a parent, so I'm not making any money off this. Every kid who goes through it gets a certificate of completion that just says read not guess, and they can fill in their name, and it says they completed the level 1 or the level 2 challenge.
Yeah. And you know, if you're anything like what I did last summer, I worked with my neighbor and I had a karaoke machine, and when I printed out the certificate and then I made a big production out of it and announced her name with the karaoke machine and had her, you know, mom come over and clap for her, and my daughter was there too, and you could totally make this so much fun. So hope
I
that
love it.
everyone
I love it.
gets their karaoke machines out for that.
That sounds great. I should encourage that for all families. Yeah.
Yeah. Chad, I'm wondering, are there any supplies or materials that we need to think about when we're executing these little mini lessons?
Yeah, so the lessons come over email. So you need some device that can get the email every day. And the lessons are all self contained within the email. Sometimes there's a link that you might have to follow to go to it. So you need access to the internet, you need the email. The device, you can use any device. It works better on bigger things just so kids can see it easier. It's a it's a tool that's meant for parents to work on with their kids, or adults to work on with kids. So both people need to be able to see the screen. I have the child will often, I ask them to point to the letters or to blend the words. So it's not just a parent's sort of guide. It's actually a lesson contained within it. So that is the most important thing, is the screen. There's also sometimes I suggest little games to reinforce it, reinforce some of the lessons that we've been learning in the courses. But for those, they're simple games of I show very detailed instructions about how to write a few letters and words on a piece of paper and how to fold it. And so you have 16 slices of the paper and you write on a pen or on a piece of paper. So it's simple materials to help with games. There's some auditory games as well. So to help with kids, it's helpful for kids to have rhyming and other sort of activities. So there's some of those too.
That's great. Love how easy it is. That's the best part. It's not like a ton of prep or anything like that. So it's really great for busy parents. And one other quick question, logistics wise, how many lessons are there? Like how long would this last?
Yeah. So the way in the summers past, for anyone who's familiar with it, I had a specific start date, and so everyone had to start on that one date. It was like a cohort, and there were some people who joined late, or some people who were ready to start, and the program hadn't started yet. And so I worked to automate them, and so now both the level 1, the level 2 challenge that I mentioned are freely available. They can start immediately on the website Read Not Guess, and they're what I structure them as is 30-day challenges. So for 30 days, you'll get an email every morning with a lesson of the day. And because of the automation, I couldn't do it just on weekdays. So it does flow literally 30 days from whenever you start. It'll start right away. And so if you sign up at 5 p.m., it'll start at 6 a.m. the next day. And that's the way it's
Yeah.
scheduled to run right now.
Pro tip, start a little side folder in your email that just says read, not guess, so that you can put them in there and then go back to them as needed. Or, if you miss a Saturday or something, or you go on vacation, you can just keep rolling through when you get back.
That's great tip.
Good tip, Lori.
Yeah. Very organization minded over here.
We need it. We need it. All right. So we wanted to back up a little bit to ask you, where did this come from? So now that everyone knows all the logistics and then how to do it, what made you start this?
Yeah, so my name's Chad. I'm a parent, and I'm also an education researcher. So that's what I do in my day job. But most of my work is on wonky things like school finance or in-depth academic research. And I got interested in this mainly because of my parent role. My child came home during the pandemic, and we thought he could read, and we sent him upstairs to do free reading time. And it took us a while to catch on that he was guessing. So he would come to a word that he was not familiar with, and he would take his eyes off the page, look up to the ceiling, and think about what it could be rather than looking at the letters and sounding it out. And so that frustrated me as a parent. I started reading a lot, researching a lot, listening to your podcast and other places, trying to figure out what else I could do. And so I started the Read Not Guess program to help other parents like me. It's not meant to replace schools. It's meant for parents to sort of supplement and monitor from home, that they can be a guide. They can teach their kids how to build strong early reading habits. And it started 2 summers ago with just the level 1, pretty similar to what exists still today. And then I've slowly, because of parent feedback and users, I've made some tweaks. I've expanded it to the level 2 that I mentioned, and the daily decodable program as well for kids who just need more practice over time too.
Yeah. Do you want to share a little bit about the daily decodable program?
Yeah, so I call it the daily-ish decodable program. And the ish part is meant to give families grace that they can't do it every day. It's also meant to give me grace that maybe I can't write a decodable story every day. But I started in the fall, and I've written, 130 different lessons, and I'm following a sequence, so it all builds on itself. But it's meant for parents who want to work with their kids on any given day, but maybe don't have time to do it every single day. And I think of it a little bit as like PBS. If you think of putting your kid to watch a show, they might not have seen the Tuesday show, but the Wednesday show will still be good for them on a broad scale. And so that's sort of what I think of as this. And each lesson has a sound of the day, whether it's a prefix or a suffix or some sort of blend. And then I ask kids to do a rhyme it. I ask kids to do a read it section. I ask kids to do a say it section. So they're pointing at it and blending the words. And then there's a short 100-word decodable story at the bottom with some, and then there's an explain it with 2 simple questions, like what happened in the story, or maybe I ask them to spell a word that we've been focusing on. And again, they're supposed to be pretty short, they're 5 to 10 minutes, but hopefully for kids who just need more practice with these types of skills.
Yeah, thanks for explaining that. I'm just picturing all of our teachers listening thinking, "Oh, this would be such a great thing to extend the learning during the school day, not just parents are always asking, what can I do at home to help? This is so simple. All of the programs, I should say, that you have, all of your free programs, but that daily-ish decodable one would be really great for, I think, what age would you say, or what grade level?
Age and grade level both vary. So I get these questions a lot, and it's a
know.
really hard one to answer. But I would say, depending on the kid, 1st to 3rd grade is probably the sweet spot. There might be some younger kids who are ready for it. There might be some older kids who still need it. But that's probably the sweet spot of kids who know the basics, but still need more practice. Maybe they just need more time with different types of phonics skills, and more complex ones, to be honest. Like, they don't need PAT anymore. They need slightly more complicated ones that the English language has a lot of them. And so to go through some of those is sort of my goal with that program.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else that you'd like parents or teachers to know about Read Not Guess or Daily-ish decodables?
I will just say again, it's free and publicly available. All the lessons are online if you don't want to follow the scope. But I do recommend starting from the beginning if you have a beginner going to level one. Last summer, we had some parents sign up for all of them at once, and I can't imagine the email deluge they got because of that. So they'll be there no matter what. Just take your time and find the one that's right for your family. Um, I hope that some parents will go through and start from the level one this in June or July, and then keep going, go to level two, and then join the Daily-ish Decodable program. Like that's my hope for parents that are interested and like it, that they can stick with it and keep going.
I was just thinking if you have multiple kids at different ages, you would need to sign up for all of them. Then you really need Lori's folder system.
That's right. Yeah.
Righto. Yes, everyone get that folder system going. That's step one. And then sign up. Step two.
The other thing I'll say is, like, I'll repeat something I said earlier. Like, these are meant to be something that the parents work on with their child. And that can be a tax. Like, some parents would rather just give their child an app to work on. And it is asking some time of parents' involvement. But based on the feedback we've gotten, it seems pretty positive that parents enjoy spending that time. And then they have a common language to talk about reading with their child. So I sort of see it as a feature, not a bug of the sort of program that we're offering. It's
and you're giving them
free.
some insight in how the students are learning.
That's right. Yeah.
Or how they should be learning how to read.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's like mutually educative of both parents and or caregivers and children. So
I should say one other thing is that I get a lot of questions about whether the lessons are accessible to all families, and they are written in English. So for non-native English speakers, that could be a barrier, but the instructions in it are repeated day after day. And so the format is the same. And so there's similarity. They don't have to deal with that barrier. I also work to write all the instructions and all the lessons at a pretty low grade level. They're written at about a 5th grade level. So accessible to a broad swath of parents out there.
yeah. I felt like once I did a few of them, it was just like boom, boom, boom. It was very, I could, the directions were very the same. It was lots of repetition. And we know that feels good generally for both teachers or parents or whoever's teaching and children or students. Like that feels good to know and to expect what's coming next.
Yeah, I think I've had some adults say it can get boring or repetitive, but I sort of ignored those critiques because I think they're, it's repetitive for the child and the children because it helps them learn and get accustomed to it and sort of build on what they've learned in the past.
Yeah. And we know that sometimes that is like a critique, but at the same time, that's what's needed. Yeah. Well, we're so glad that you came to talk to us about this today. So everyone listening, go sign up for Read Not Guess. We are going to blast this on all of our channels. We can't wait to hear about how you use this in your homes or your students' homes this summer.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Thanks, Chad.